Hi, everybody. My name is Nathaniel Manning. I'm the CEO of Ushahidi. And Ushahidi was founded 10 years ago in response to the post-election violence that happened in Kenya. The four founders were trying to solve the problem of figuring out what's happening on the ground. And so they built this community and open source software to try to solve that problem. Over the past 10 years, we've done a lot of good stuff trying to do good in the world. So that platform, that Ushahidi platform, has now grown to be used over 150,000 times, gathering over 40 million reports in over 160 countries for election monitoring, human rights reporting, and crisis response. We built the brick, and I'm going to tell you about some of the newest things that we're working on. So I'm going to start by telling you about the problems, 4 of them, in fact. First, there's an increasing crisis around the world around climate change, due to geopolitical turmoil. And unfortunately, I don't really see that going away anytime soon. What happens in a crisis is that the problems, first responders come in, people try to help. Often they use our software to do that, and they save lives, and then the news moves on, they move on, but suffering continues. And what's left is the local community and insurance companies trying to ease that suffering. Unfortunately, insurance companies have a problem. In addition to everyone hating them and having the worst user experience I can imagine, they have this deep flaw in the business model where they have a conflict of interest between their policyholders and their shareholders, where every dollar they pay out is a dollar off of their direct bottom line. This causes them to drag their heels on payouts. In addition, the idea of centralized insurance is really one of the goals is to reduce fraud, but they're not even very good at doing that because 10 to 20% of claims worldwide are fraudulent. And the insurance industry, by the way, is $7 trillion. That's bigger than the banking industry. So our hypothesis trying to solve this was started coming up about 4 or 5 years ago, and its idea was this decentralized community insurance structures. Because at its core, insurance is this beautiful idea of let's pool our funds together in case anything goes bad for any of us. And it actually came about not by looking at blockchain, but by looking at the way that unbanked communities take care of each other. They're called chamas in Kenya or hui in China. To think about how this might work, it's kind of like cashback insurance. Imagine you gather a pool, your graduating class, you're a village in Nairobi or in Kenya, and you have you're focused on, you all put in 100 tokens a year. If no claims are made, you get 75% back. 25% is kept in the float. If anyone does file a claim, then your pool is first liquidated to pay that, and if there's still a balance in the liability, it's paid out of the network, right? It's paid out of the float. Now, what's really fun is the next user group, which is you can have a group of people that are networkers, network stakers or reinsurers, people who pay in and say, hey, I'll stake the network 100 tokens this year to be able, and you'll pay me back 105 at the end, right? So as long as the total value of the float is larger than the total liability of the pools, then everyone is insured. As you can imagine, there's some called good incentive structures here. You can incentivize people to create new pools, like an agent model. You can incentivize people, as we talked about, to stake and reinsure the network. There's also a good incentive where if you know the people that are actually in your insurance pool, then hopefully you're not trying to send in fraudulent claims. That said, you still need a checks and balances systems. So the third user group are really the claims managers who could also get incentives and benefits for validating these claims by checking each of them. And I love the idea of being able to begin to decentralize these as well. And the thing is, we actually have a little bit of experience doing this because our software is often used for damage assessments in a crisis scenario. Or we've actually had it white labeled by a car insurance company in South Africa that allows people to then, when they get in an accident, they fill out the form, they snap a picture, and they send it in right to their insurance form. So we have a little bit of experience in the claims management space. You might notice that I didn't really mention blockchain yet, and that's because the point is that this really came from an idea of trying to solve the problem. And over time, we realized that that blockchain would be an incredible asset to this type of system. Why? Because it creates transparency in the system, it diversifies the risk pool, and it gives incentives to people reviewing claims, and you can manage these smart contracts, right? Because what is an insurance? It's really just a smart contract saying that you give me X, if Y happens, I'll give you Z. So we've been, as at Ushahidi, we've been building open source software for the last 10 years. I'm incredibly excited by what's happening in this space and around supporting open source protocols and open source development. Thank you.